A trans man in a dress is allowed to substitute and teach Tennessee kids about their pronouns at Saudi Daisy High School. Combating illegal immigration. 2 bills filed for 2025. Resolution to protect children from sexualization fails in Knox County. Again, Jefferson County school bus driver charged on 14 counts of sexual contact by an authority figure. Rutherford County School Board purges 150 sexually explicit titles from school libraries. Less than 1% of Tennessee third graders held back by reading retention law. And Christian instruction during school hours gaining traction in Tennessee. This is Brandon Lewis with the 10 Con Big 7 Weekend Update, bringing you the biggest stories the mainstream media wants to sweep under the rug because their corporate paymasters wouldn't like it if you knew. Go to TennesseeConservativeNews.com, hit that subscribe button if you appreciate what we do and you want us to continue doing it in 2025. We're in the middle of our annual campaign. Please go to TennesseeConservativeNews.com, hit that support button, make a monthly contribution, because without consistent monthly revenue, we won't be able to get everything done that we need to. Now, before we get into this first story, which is breaking, I want to read some from the mailbag here. Howdy, Brandon. Use this wherever needed the most, but if you chose to have it go to the reporter you're hoping to send to the Capitol, that would be nice. God bless. Daniel and Cheryl, you know who you are. Thank you so much for your steadfast and continued support. It ain't chicken feed. Another note here that came in the mail. Happy Thanksgiving, Brandon. We always have much to be thankful for, but especially now, a victory has been won, but the work is not yet done. Praise the Lord sincerely. I think this says Stephen. All right. Thank you for sending those notes. Guys, here's this first story up. We haven't written about it yet, but we'll have it out on Monday. So Robbie Starbuck posts this picture of a dude in a dress, apparently in Saudi Daisy High School, maybe middle school, I'm not quite sure yet. And I'm thinking to myself, if these government employees ran a restaurant at these schools, they would put a turd in a bowl of clam chowder, try to serve it to the patrons, and then wonder why in the world the clients would be upset. Nobody wants this crap in front of their kids. How in the world this even happens in the first place is the question that boggles the mind. People are asleep at the wheel in these schools. Well, why would you ever want to take your kids out of Tennessee government schools? Meanwhile, this. I don't know what kind of supervision or what kind of management they have over there, but buddy, it must not be very good. When someone walks in to substitute, and it is a man in a dress, I think some alarm bells should go off, right? As I understand it, they contract with some company. I think this has happened twice now, and that contract needs to be revoked. And hopefully we'll hear from their school board member. I know that Michelle Renault is on the job. Hopefully Senator Watson will do something. I sent him a message, didn't ever hear anything from him, which, doesn't surprise me because I'm always on him about his inappropriate relationship with his wife, who's a lobbyist, and the money that comes into the Watson family as they lobby for corporate welfare, which means the money comes out of your pocket and then later goes into his. It's unethical. Everyone you ask says so. So he doesn't return my text messages anymore, which is perfectly fine. So that's what's going on in your Tennessee government schools. But we got some good news. Combating illegal immigration, 2 bills filed for 2025 legislative session. As the 2025 legislative session approaches, 2 bills have already been filed. In the Tennessee House, Republicans are aiming at combating the surge of illegal immigration in the state. I'm speaking to 2 state reps and a state senator today, back to back, on this very topic. Those interviews will come out shortly, so stay tuned. On Wednesday of last week, Representative Todd Warner introduced House Bill 10, which will require law enforcement agencies with illegals in custody to request immigration detainers, I love this, and require that the agency transport them to federal custody to a sanctuary city. The bill would also allow the state to recoup the transportation costs, whether by car, bus, or plane, by withholding, this is a great idea, federal petroleum taxes to reimburse local authorities and federal governments failure to fulfill the immigration detainers and collect the offenders. That's a good one. I like this one. The same day, Representative Scott Sapicki filed House Bill 11, which essentially says we're going to mark driver's license. I don't think we should give driver's license to them in the first place, Scott. That's just my opinion. You should be able to get a driver's license if you're here illegally, or an ID card or anything. But this is still pretty good. Could be easily distinguished between those that are U.S. citizens and those who aren't. And so other things that we need, and I hope come down the pike, I've got a long list of all the legislation. You want me to get it? That's been killed on this topic. Hopefully some of these will be resurrected. Allowing law enforcement to enforce illegal immigration laws. That got killed by Republicans in committee. Stopping the taxpayer funding of illegal alien education was killed by Republicans in committee. Relocation of illegal aliens to blue states. Hopefully Todd's bill will make this happen. E-Verify bill to weaken job magnets for illegal aliens was killed in committee. Requiring immigration status check of potential voters was killed by Republicans in committee. Increasing fines for transporting that would actually make something happen was killed by Republicans in committee. Right now, if Greyhound or Delta or anybody or a charter bus company wants to bring illegals to our state in droves, they can do it. Absolutely do it. There's no penalty. There's no enforcement. That needs to change. So guys, we're hearing some rumblings that some things are actually going to happen. And as I have said, if the rhinos want to kill it in committee, in this environment politically, in the primary, if you're a conservative, run against them and just hang that vote around their neck. Hang it around their neck. It is the most effective thing you can do politically in this climate, is to show voters that someone's a rhino because they kill illegal immigration legislation. So we'll see what happens with that. Next story, resolution to protect children from sexualization fails in Knox County again. So essentially this story is basically about the fact that government money goes into these entertainment venues, and then those entertainment venues host these gatherings where men in women's clothing get to shake their junk provocatively in front of kids. And the Republicans on the Knox County Commission are like, I don't think that's kosher. We probably shouldn't do that. And so it is a super duper struggle to get anyone to do anything about this. It was an 8-3 vote ultimately. And the commissioners who voted against it were Republicans, Gina Oster, Kim Frazier, Terry Hill, Adam Thompson, and Larson J., and they voted with the Democrats, Damon Rawls, Courtney Durrett, and Shane Jackson. Not all the time, but most of the time, when you see Democrats and rhinos voting together, it's a bad sign. So I don't know, more of this are simply coming your way. One speaker said, we are simply advocating for safeguards to be put in place locally. The desired outcome is for organizations who receive funding to be more mindful of upholding Tennessee law. And the Republicans that brought this, and kudos to them and voted for it, were Andy Fox and Angela Russell and Rhonda Lee. So thank you for having the conservative chops to go out there and try to do something about this mess. Next story, Jefferson County school bus driver charged on 14 counts of sexual contact by an authority figure. As I often say, why would you want a kid, or rather, why would you want to take your kids out of Tennessee public schools, and then Tennessee public schools act like they do. Jefferson County Schools in Dandridge has had its share of problems with school buses over the past year. Now a new problem emerged with the arrest of a school bus driver. The school bus driver was terminated from employment on August 21st, 2024 for what the director of schools termed inappropriate action. A report was filed with the Tennessee Department of Children's Services the same day. Fast forward 3 months, and the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office released a statement that the school bus driver had been arrested in November 13th, 2024, charged with 14 counts of sexual contact by an authority figure. In another story of government school employees gone wrong, a teacher from Stone Memorial High School in Crossville is facing felony charges of reckless endangerment after allegedly threatening students in his classroom last week. You can't make this stuff up. Crossville police identified teacher 56 years old James Edward Green of Cookeville according to an arrest warrant. Green accused of holding an edged weapon near a student's neck in a threatening manner. According to the arrest warrant, it goes on to state this student was not following directions of the teacher, and the teacher became irate with him and retrieved the knife that he used to prepare his lunch from the desk and made the threat to the student. Green was arrested without incident and charged with reckless endangerment. Here's another example. Metro Nashville Police Department arrested a Nashville coach, Tyler Forte, Wednesday evening after surrendering to police when a warrant was issued, charging him with aggravated statutory rape. Fort, who was a part-time coach in Donaldson Christian Academy, allegedly met at various school locations around the county and engaged in sexual activity with a 17-year-old. Get those kids in safe environment. Teach them in your home. That's what we're doing. Good grief. Guys, it's our annual drive. The last 2 or 3 months have been tough for the Tennessee Conservative because the federal races put a huge strain on grassroots donors because folks were supporting Trump, and as well they should. I did it myself. But if you scrape together some pennies, we need to rebuild the bank balance here at the Tennessee Conservative. I don't take any money out of this publication. I'm still about $173,000 in the hole. I do this for free. And so if I can come in here and do this as a volunteer, please help me fund the reporters that we do pay, and it ain't as much as it should be to do what we need to do. We have big aspirations this year, but without big giving, it's not going to happen. We'd like to send a reporter to Nashville. We're getting to where we can almost do that. We're still probably about, $14,000 shy. And we also want to begin a subscriber acquisition campaign, and that's going to take money as well, because we need to build our list of conservatives in Tennessee for our publication, get the truth out there as we head into the governor's race. It's going to be critically important that we're engaged, that we pick a good governor, because Governor Lee has been a disappointment from COVID to red flag gun laws to bailing out and giving more corporate welfare than any other governor in Tennessee's history, putting more small businesses out of work, failing to address illegal immigration, but in fact making it worse. Like, we need to turn the page. We do not need to be burdened by what has been with Bill Lee. We need to find a good conservative to run, and so that means we're going to be able to report to folks, hey, where do they stand on the issues? It's going to be really important. We've got to look forward and plan ahead if we're going to really make something happen. And if you give $50 or more, or a recurring donation, which we desperately need monthly recurring donations, desperately. I had a lady email me today, and she had requested a free Tennessee for Trump bumper sticker, and apparently it got lost in the mail or something. And I look at her record, and she's not giving any money. And I'm not saying you have to give, but I'm telling you, if conservatives don't quit being so cheap with their political contributions to organizations and candidates, we ain't going to be able to turn this thing around. You cannot fail to put any money or time into this state and local stuff and then hope that Tennessee can move in a conservative direction. It is a fantasy that leads to a bad place. So guys, please do go to TennesseeConservative.com, and if you give over $50, if you become a $10 or more recurring donor, we will send you a Proud Tennessee Conservative tumbler, a koozie, and a couple of bumper stickers and a directory of your recently elected officials. Here. Next story. Rutherford County School Board purges 150 sexually explicit titles from school libraries, which begs the question, why were they in there in the first place? All of these remedies and reforms are ridiculous, because it's like, oh, here's this crappy thing that's going on rampant in education. Let's try to reduce it by 10%. Here's this crappy thing going on in education. Let's try to reduce it. But the question I think that lawmakers should have is, how did the government education system get so corrupt that it's wildly expensive, it's inefficient, the scores are in the crapper, and then we've got all this other stuff on top of it? I think we need to focus on what's causing all this, the incentive structure, the connection to the consumer, you name it. The Rutherford County School Board appears to be following suit of Montgomery and Wilson counties, ordering a removal of approximately 150 titles from school library shelves, flagged as explicitly sexual during Tennessee's updated Age-Appropriate Materials Act. The board pulled 35 books since February of this year, but the debate became particularly heated over the removal of 6 titles last month before the most recent mass purge. Republican board member of the school board, Caleb Tidwell, has been the primary driving force initiating a review of many titles and has continually argued that banning the titles is not a violation of the First Amendment. These efforts have earned support from many parents and community members, as well as you might expect. One school librarian called the book removals, of course she did, heartbreaking, because she believes that the current rate, the district could, quote, end up with nothing on the shelves for our students to read. Yeah, I'm sure that's the case. No, she's heartbroken likely because she's a liberal commie, and she wants this trash in the schools. Ken Paulson, director of Free Speech Center at Middle Tennessee State University, believes, quote, the law can be challenged, and I'm certain it will not survive. And reportedly, the American Civil Liberties Union is getting involved. I think that those guys on the left and a lot of government school employees in Tennessee aren't going to be happy until there's a little roped off area at the back of a school library, like where the dirty movies used to be kept, right? At your local neighborhood video store, back when there used to be those. I think that's what they want in school libraries for kids. Hey, come back here. We got the good stuff. We got the good stuff back here. Just go back here behind the curtain. Nobody has to know. Jeez Louise. Here's another good one. I'm sorry there's so much good news coming out of Tennessee schools, but here they are. Less than 1%, you heard that right, less than 1% of Tennessee third graders held back by reading retention law in 2024. We passed these laws trying to reform this broken government education system that is so inherently dysfunctional. I don't think it can be redeemed. If kids can't read at grade level in third grade, they need to be held back for their own sake. While 60% of this past year's third grade class failed to meet the state's reading benchmark this past spring, 60%. Excuse me. Only 0.88%, that's less than a percent, were held back. This means around 655 of the 74,000 third graders enrolled in public schools last year were retained, a decrease from 1.2%, or around 898 students the previous year. Around 50,000 Tennessee third graders failed to meet proficiency expectations on the TCAP test. Third grade students who scored below or approaching proficiency were given several pathways to be able to move on to fourth grade. I mean, if they're just going to mark time in some kind of program that doesn't change anything and then move on to fourth grade, good luck. Good luck. Jeez Louise. Oh, here we go. Some good news. Good news. We're going to finish up with some good news. Christian instruction during school hours gaining traction in Tennessee. I think this is where all the problems stem in discipline, morality, work ethic, is because this stuff has been taken out of schools. We shouldn't have ever let it be that way as a Christian nation. The program, operating in some Memphis Shelby County schools, provides public school students with an opportunity to attend Bible class during school hours. LifeWise Academy was started in 2018 as an outreach to provide Christian education to public school students. Shelby County integrated the program 2 years ago, allowing students to receive Bible instruction with a focus on character education such as integrity and trust. Currently, there are 7 schools participating with 144 students involved. Another 9 schools may be added for spring of 2025. Good news. Good news. Those are your headlines, guys. I don't make the news. I just bring it to you. And I'll tell you, if you tell the truth in Tennessee politics about people's voting records, you want to talk about the failure of government schools and how they're irredeemably broken because it doesn't matter if you fail or succeed, you get paid the same. It doesn't matter if the clients withdrawal, you retain the budget. It doesn't matter if your clients complain, you don't have to listen to them. It doesn't matter that you produce a product, that if a publicly licensed business produced a product that was that faulty, the Tennessee Attorney General would put them out of business. But we allow it in government education because it's the biggest job factory in Tennessee. And who carries the consequence? Is it the government job factory? Mm-mm. It's the kids. It's the parents. It's our society at large in Tennessee. We need to get out of the government education business. It is a failed experiment. And as I look at Governor Lee's school choice bill, there's nothing in it that's going to fix anything. It's this bloated, expensive, do-nothing bill. I cannot believe we kicked conservatives out of office over that crap. And you're going to hear from a lot of organizations, oh, this is the best thing since sliced bread. And it is not. You can look at the full breakdown. I think it's still pinned on the top at Twitter. It won't be for long. But it's not something that conservatives should support, in my humble opinion. It's just not very good. So what's going on this weekend? Well, I'm going tonight to a Michelle Renault volunteer appreciation event, and I'm excited about that. It'll be nice to be in a room where I'm not hated. Because again, if you tell the truth about stuff, if you try to represent the collective will of regular Tennessee primary voters, you are like a pariah. And all I do here, I kid you not, at this publication, is I survey, I poll, I consume what Tennessee GOP primary voters want on average, and I just advocate for that. And that is what makes me so dangerous, is because I am singing the song that the primary voters want to hear sung, that they are failing to hear sung in the legislation that is passed out of the folks that they've elected. Case in point is this whole illegal immigration catastrophe that we have in Tennessee that nothing has been done about, and all the bills have been killed for 4 years by Republicans. They know, and that's why I'm the most hated man in Republican politics in Tennessee, is they know that I am telling the truth. And when you're doing something wrong, or you're failing to do your job, and somebody points it out, that does not make you popular. If I ever wanted to become popular and make a lot of money doing this, you know what I'd do? I would start advocating for all the corporate corruption that's going on up in Nashville. I would start advocating for every bill that anybody in leadership introduces is just awesome and flawless and will fix all the problems. And then I could maybe go up into the General Assembly and become a highly paid lobbyist, like Bo Watson's wife. Or maybe I could go up there, become a senator, run as a senator, and then go find me a lobbyist to marry, and we could run the circuit in cahoots with one another. Like I could turn this into a moneymaker if I wanted to, but that would make me a sellout. I'd just rather make my money providing value as a private citizen in my other business, and then to let my civic involvement just be civic involvement. That's what I prefer. So tonight, I'm going to go to that little shindig. Saturday, we're going to go to church. Got to get my hair cut, what little of it is left, and work out. And we've got a whole bunch of stuff to do around the house here because we're gearing up for a big shindig at our place for Christmas. We'll probably have 40-ish people over at the house. We're going to defeat an army, which is going to be great, though. I love Christmas parties. I love bringing people together. It's just fun, right? Being a good host. I think hospitality is a gift, and you should spread it around liberally. What else? Sunday, I don't think I've got anything I have to do Sunday. I think I'm going to go to the new, if I'm not mistaken, I think I'm going to the new Cigars International big, huge place. I've heard about it, but I've not been to it in Eastridge. I'm going to meet some of my friends from North Georgia, and we're going to go over there and check that puppy out. Be exposed to some secondhand smoke. It's what stunted my growth. That's what all the problem is. And everybody's smoking in the house. When I was growing up, my grandpa and my dad, I think the dog smoked too, if I recall. Marlboros, filterless Marlboros. Nonetheless, you may have experienced the same thing growing up in rural South as I did. So that's what's going on, guys. I'm excited for Thanksgiving. Is that next week? I think it is. And so we're going to go down to hang out with my wife's family. They are a great bunch of people, lots of fun. And then I'm going back to Alabama to hang out with my best friend Tommy. I've been hanging out with him for Christmas and Thanksgiving since 4th grade, and almost like on a permanent basis since I was 19 and my father passed away. And so it's our tradition, and we do it. I'm going to go home for Thanksgiving, and I'm also going to go see my friend Corey in Huntsville and make some stops in the old stomping ground and just enjoy myself. So I hope y'all are getting ready for a great Thanksgiving. I appreciate everything you do. Please do consider giving to our annual campaign, because we can't do it without you. We can't do it without you. You don't put any time, any money into something, you can't expect it to thrive and flourish. And we need your help if we're going to stand on our own 2 feet and go toe-to-toe with the corporate, lying liberal media that owns the Nashville legislative session. We need at least one conservative voice up there, just one, that will actually speak truth to you as a Republican primary voter, and we hope to be that source. Brandon Lewis here with the 10 Con Big 7 saying, have a great weekend. See you next time.